Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Flight Pass. We're in the Huey. We're at Charleroi, and we've been discussing the Napoleon's invasion of Belgium, which happened on the 15th of June, and he's got to this town here, which is Charleroi. And we left in the last episode with the message being sent via the Prince Orange at Braine-le-Comte. A message has been sent to say that the French have arrived, and they are at a place called Frasnes on the Brussels to Charleroi road, and they've also reached Fleurus, which is the town over here on the right, as you see. Now what I was going to actually do is let's I wanted to make sure that we have the blue just end that there a second. Wanted to get the blue lines up here so you can see the area of operations. So I'll set this as a departure, and I'll set this as a arrival, and the places of interest we've talked about. So we're going to just go around basically the area that we are interested on the 16th. We'll come over here. That was Sombref. We'll come over to Quatre, which is here. And that will be down. That should be good. In this section, I've actually moved the category to more like just chatting, because when we get down into the nitty-gritty of the battles, flying the helicopter is not necessarily going to be the easiest thing to do, so we'll jump out and we'll use the drone.
FLP 1944. Your transponder appears inoperative or malfunctioning. Reset squawk 1617.
We'll let the ATC get a bit crazy. So now what you can see with the blue lines then is this represents the area of operations we're concerned about for the 16th of June 1815. So by the evening of the 15th, Napoleon has been with his guards. They've been moving up, and he's following his the course of Van Damme and Lebau, and he arrives in Charleroi, as I say, in the evening, and he goes to a place which is called the Chateau Puissant in Charleroi. Now let's I'm just going to see if I can find that.
FLP 1944. ATC services terminated. Good day.
Lock. I don't want to use that one. I'm going to try and find this on the map. Chateau Puissant. Okay, so this is it's down. Yeah, this is I believe it's this here. These buildings somewhere here. This is the Chateau Puissant, and this is where Napoleon will stay on the evening of the 15th of June. He's given a section of his army to Ney, mainly with Rail's Corps, and Pires cavalry. And Ney has established his headquarters on the left wing, they call it, but it's at a position over here. This place here, which is called Gazelles. This is where Ney is, and as you say, this is back here is where Napoleon is. So if you can think of it, then the central column is here. You've got the left wing up there by where that runway is, and Gerard's corps and Grouchy's cavalry have crossed over on a place called Châtelet, which is this place here, and so they've been coming from this direction, from Philippeville and Walcott. So you can see how the three columns then are moving in, and you can also see how Napoleon's intention is to push the Prussians to the east and northeast. He's got a relatively strong force on his left with Ney, and his mission is to try to take the crossroads at Quatre. And whilst he will send probably 2/3 of his army towards the Prussians, who are concentrating over in a town called Sombref. And as we spoke in the last episode, the French Van Damme's corps, his advanced corps that was chasing the Prussians, have arrived and pushed the Prussians back, and they have their advanced elements on the 15th of June have reached Fleurus. Okay, hope that's makes sense. Napoleon sends his advanced cavalry, the light cavalry. He has them positioned, as I say, at Gazelles and a place called Melee. Let's see if we can find Melee. There we go. It's the sort of village just to the south of. So where we see here, it says Les Bonnes Villes. That is actually Frasnes les Gazelles. This is Les Bonnes Villes here. And so this is the town of Melee, or village of Melee, just to the south. And back then here, we'll find Ney's headquarters in this village of Gazelles. And Gerard's division is at a place called Wanguinese. Shall we be able to see that? Derlon's corps is at a place called Marchian, which we spoke about in the last episode. It was where the crossing was, which is down here, Marchian au Pont. So they're coming up behind. They had the furthest to go. They were on the furthest on the left of Napoleon's advance, and this is here the bridge at Marcian. So this is where Derlon eventually gets to. And the Lobau's division and the Guard, they're coming up, but they're behind Napoleon, marching up behind. So they're spending the night bivouacked back here behind Charleroi. So this is the day, the 15th of June, 1815 has come to a close. The scores on the doors, well, the core of Zeiton was the Prussian army's advanced corps. They're the ones who were taking the impact first, trying to slow up the French, and they suffered approximately about 1,200 casualties. And half of those were from the 28th Regiment, the Fusiliers of the 28th Regiment that got charged by the cavalry over on the right-hand side here, just near past Gilly. The French, they suffer around about 600 casualties on this day. The Napoleon hasn't really faced a significant setback. His plan remains in place to split the army, and I think all in all, he's probably happy that he's managed to cross the border into Belgium, get to Charleroi, pushing back the Prussians and be in a position to engage them the next day. Whether he expected them to actually stand and fight is another thing. He very possibly he expected them to continue to withdraw, and if anything, try to withdraw onto Wellington's forces. So I think he's quite happy when the Prussians decide to stand. But Zeiton's delaying tactics have kind of worked. The French haven't got to Sombref, his concentration point, and they're not in a position. Zeiton's given the rest of the Prussian army a good chance to concentrate. I don't know if I mentioned at the time yesterday that of General Beaumont. He was a general in the French army, and he was commander of the 14th Infantry Division. He actually comes across to the Prussian side. He changes side basically, and he surrenders to Zeiton's command, and he actually gives the Prussians the strength, the numbers, basically the numbers, the strength of Napoleon, and of his what he believes was his plan. So this is around about 7 o'clock in the morning. So just for in brief then, we're talking in terms of knowledge that the Allies had. Remember, Zieten himself hears the musket fire at 4:30 in the morning on the 15th, and he sends his dispatch at 4:45 to Wellington. He's handwritten it in French. The day is a fine day. It's got mist, slowly evaporating as the sun rises. And Napoleon sets off in his 3 columns with the cavalry, the 12 regiments of cavalry in vanguard positions, with companies of engineers equipped with pontoons just in case they need to get across the rivers, even though Wellington hasn't destroyed the bridges. And all the baggage and ammunition and ambulance wagons are held in the rear, and orders are sent out that any wagons that are in the way are to be pushed over, burnt. The vanguards are told to go ahead, but not get too far ahead of each other. That's another. He wants them to work in unison, not to get too isolated. And then, so these cavalry people go forwards. They're asking the population about the disposition of the Prussian troops. This is the way it kind of works. And they're seizing letters at post offices, trying to get an idea of what's going on. And so the French have, most of their troops have crossed the Sambre, this river which you see here. They've crossed the Sambre by around about 12 o'clock. At the time, I don't think it is such a secret that the officers of the British Army were probably aware of Wellington's plan to concentrate at the ridge at Mont Saint Jean. That was definitely something that they would have discussed. And there was word being circulated around that was his intentions. And so you can then see immediately that this concentration of the Prussians at Sombref and the position of Quatre were fully intended to be a stalling position. It was a long way forward from Brussels. Obviously, it would be great if they could stop the French at that line, which you can see this line here, which is the horizontal line running east and west is the road. And so that would have been a great place to stop them. But it was always the intention, I think, that that would be where it would be a stalling position to begin with, and the favoured position to meet the French would be in front of Brussels at the ridge at Mont Saint Jean. And so the plan is obvious. It's to push troops forward, slow down the French as much as you possibly can, and then give the Prussians and the Anglo-Dutch army time to concentrate their troops and bring them together at a single place. And the British Anglo-Dutch main concentration point was at the other end of this road. If you extended that blue line, you can see that road carries on to this town here, and this is the town of Nivelles. So this would be an important position for elements of the Wellington's army to concentrate at this point here. If then they had to pull back, then they will pull back towards Brussels and meet up back just to the south of Brussels at Wellington's favoured position, which he had selected, which is here, which he had selected and spotted the year before. And remember, most of this is not. Forget the road that's modern. Most of this, these buildings are actually in a forest that was behind the battlefield. So this gives a very good overshot here of the distances involved. And I thought I'll leave this section here, then I'll take another little break. And we'll leave with a quote from Sir Augustus Fraser. He was the commander of the Allied Horse Artillery, and he sent a letter to Sir George Wood, and he says he's just learned that the Duke will move in half an hour. Wood thinks to Waterloo, which we cannot find on the map, but this is the old story over again. So this is a guy, he's been told, if you're thinking from Wellington's point of view here, he's getting these messages, and it seems to be that the first call of action is to is to concentrate his army, and then we're going to move out. And the very first place that is mentioned by his troops is the village of Waterloo. Now, this is Brussels below us here. So obviously, Wellington wants his troops around Brussels to move down through the wood, heading down towards Charleroi. But if you can concentrate at where I know it would be a good place, which is here, this village of Waterloo, then he could then send some troops down to Quatre if he wanted to, but get most of his troops to concentrate here to begin with. But there is a race on, though. There's a panic on because of the speed in which the French have pushed in, that this crossroads becomes very important, because this is the crossroads where he has promised the Prussians that his support will come from. So if he doesn't control this crossroads, then he's not going to be able to support the Prussians like he promised. And that will cause issues with Gneisenau, Blucher's chief of staff, which we'll come to later. Okay, so as I say, let's wrap up this part for YouTube. If you're watching on Twitch, I'll be back in a second.